Hey, good to see you. It is Monday, and today we are kicking off Health Week. We're going to talk about physical health, mental health, and how it impacts um, where we are in our personal development, and how it impacts, you know, the progress, your potential as you move forward and try to reach the goals that you've set for yourself, whether it's personal, business, or whatever. So we're going to talk about that. If you don't know me, I'm Nick. I am the creator of Define My Day. And every day we come here to speak with you about what's going on in your life, try to give you a little bit more information about how to better utilize Define My Day. And if you're not using Define My Day, you get to know a little bit about the community and what we do here. Our overall goal is to help you not get to that point where you look back on your life and realize that you wasted a lot of time and there's not a lot of time left to change that. Call it a midlife crisis, call it whatever, but I don't want anybody to feel regretful about where they invested their time and where they spent their time and where they are in life. I want you to go align your daily actions with the path that you want to take so that that path leads you toward ultimately where you want to be. That could be successful in a career, that could be healthy overall, that could have, you could have great relationships. It could be an advocate for your community, whatever you want to be. I want to make sure that you're doing the things today that help you get you there. So thank you all, as always, for joining me. We got some people checking in already. Let's see what's going on. Kathy, good morning. And Kathy says she walked 2.5 miles yesterday. That's awesome. That's really cool. I know I walked around the block last Friday I think it was Friday with my boys just to check out the neighborhood. And they rode their scooter. And I'll tell you, when you're not used to it, like walking a distance up and down some hills yeah, it can impact you. Good morning, Angel. Good morning, Sherry. And good morning, Janice. Good to see you guys. Norm is changing again with work done. Okay. Wow. Okay, so I can't read Janice. But so Janice says the norm is changing again with schoolwork done, and that is absolutely true. Today is day one of no schoolwork, and my goal with my boys today is to give them a healthy schedule. So they don't quite know it yet because I've been hustling around trying to do what I got to do today. But we're going to sit down and we're going to come up with a schedule that they are going to have every day. And some of it's going to involve learning something on their own. It's going to involve getting some physical activity in, playing outside independently. I think we're going to mix in using the iPad app for the piano to teach them or let them teach themselves how to play the piano with a little bit of help from Lynn. So we're working on that schedule. We were going to do that yesterday, but Lynn's sister and niece came over yesterday, and we ended up just kind of hanging out outside and enjoying the weather. So we didn't get to it. We did a little bit of meal prep yesterday, but we didn't, get all of our plans in place. So we're going to work on that today. So the norm is changing, and we're going to try to fix before anything goes too far off pace or off target. We're going to try to make sure we fix the schedule right now for all of us. So, yep, I know what you're going through there, Janice. It's funny because you said I read Noom. When you said norm, I read Noom, and Noom is something that I've seen. If you watch TV, you see a lot of advertisements for Noom, which I assume is some sort of a physical health company, which there are a lot of right now. But we'll get into that soon. So as far as how the weekend went for everybody, how was your weekend? What did you guys do this weekend? We had friends over on Saturday. We put some salmon in the smoker and had some smoked salmon, some pork chops, salad. Try to start making our diet a little bit more healthy, and hung out outside. Try to do a lot outside. Actually, spent a lot of time outside, enjoying the sun. For the most part, it was like temperate. Yesterday was about high 70s. The day before was in mid 80s. So, did some yard work, mowed the lawn, all of that good stuff. Had a nice allergy attack from mowing the lawn, of course. uh, and just did some stuff around the house. Yesterday, my one boy, my oldest, did ask me when we are going to go out and do something outside of the house. And it's funny because you don't realize it. It hit me that he has not left the house aside from the house closing and going back and forth between houses. He has not left the house in like 3 months since he quit going to school. And so, where I've had the opportunity to go out shopping, he has not. So, we're gonna have to address that. I don't. No, we'll still have to be safe, but we'll have to see what's going on. Like try to have to figure out like something to do with them that's outside of this house. We take for granted that they're just enjoying themselves every day. So we got to work on that. Overall, from a society perspective, the protests seem to be, from what I'm seeing anyway, the protests seem to be larger, while also more peaceful, which is good. Although there's still some conflict back and forth, but hopefully we can get to a good place where we can grow and heal from this. Um, the One of the things I think about, we talked about it yesterday on my Facebook page about where we're going right now. And I think the two key things we need to take out of this is, for the people that don't understand, the people that do understand why this is happening need to be patient in trying to walk these other people through. The flat out racists, they're not going to change. But there are people that don't quite understand, that don't have a good perspective and can't empathize with what's going on. Those are the people we can try to have a conversation with. But when they say something inappropriate or not okay, rather than lash out and attack them, which is only going to push them farther away, we need to say, look, I understand why you might feel that way, but this is why that might be wrong, right? On the flip side of it, if you are somebody on that side that doesn't understand what's going on, try to understand, right? It doesn't do anything for us just to keep butting heads about it. Try to understand. Read books about race relations. There's two books that I've read in the past that I'm going to go back and reread. Talking to Strangers by Malcolm Gladwell and Discrimination and Disparities is another good book that I read probably about 2 or 3 years ago. But I'm going to go back to it because I really don't remember much of it. So I'm going to have to go back and read it again. And it doesn't hurt to talk to people either, like people you wouldn't normally talk to, and try to understand them without throwing out opinions. Just try to understand where they're coming from. And I think if we have, if the one side, that understands what's going on can have a little bit of patience and try to walk these people through without making them feel attacked, great. And on the other side, try to understand why you might be wrong, right? I mean, there's a pretty good chance somebody is wrong if all they feel is hate and anger and all this other stuff. Like, understand why, if you don't feel that this is right, what's going on right now, try to understand why people do feel that way, why they feel so strongly about it. So, yeah, that's it. That's all I'm going to say about that right now today. Brenda, good morning. Got my coffee ready. All right, Brenda, thanks for joining me. I don't have my coffee. I have my shake today. I drank my coffees early this morning. Got my workout in. So we're going to talk a little bit about exercise today. Got my workout in. Got showered, ready, and I got my shake here, my with all my supplements, and I'm off and rolling. And Janice says she wasted 2 gorgeous days. And so, like anything, we waste time, we waste opportunities. The decision we can make, a couple decisions that happen here. Did you really waste them, or did you spend them doing something else that was important that just had to be done? Then you have to just say, okay. If you did waste them, then you say to yourself, next time I have that opportunity, I'm not going to waste it. And you can't dwell on it. You realize I made a mistake, and you go forward and change it going forward. Can't keep dwelling on it, but you also can't recreate it either, right? You don't want it to happen again. Brenda, we go for car rides, usually to Sonic for half-price drinks. That's a great idea, and I think that we may have to do that too. Um, you know, car ride to the park. Maybe we go whenever I go to get takeout. Maybe I just take them to go get takeout someplace. Something that can help them get out and experience more than this house, right? Good morning, Amy. Good to see you. And I apologize ahead of time for everybody that hears me sniffling once in a while. Still a little bit congested, working on it. It's getting better. Boys, only been away from house fishing out on a boat or being over at my mom's. Yep. Yeah, it's at least they have that. Maybe fishing might be something we have to take up this year just to get them away and out in nature and doing that sort of thing. Deborah says, "Good morning. I watched all 14 of your videos yesterday to review the Define My Day process." That's awesome. So if anybody doesn't know, there's a walkthrough at our YouTube page, and you can also catch it if you're in the user group. There's a link to it that walks you through the whole process. And so I'll announce it a little bit early. We are currently working on 2 online courses. So we have one course that is going to walk you through. It's going to be like that walkthrough, but we're going to redo that walkthrough a little bit, make it a little bit more interactive, and explain a little bit more in depth for some of the process. Like we're going to walk you through the whole process. But we're going to upload it into a learning platform so that you can actually take it in little chunks and work through it. That'll be absolutely free for everybody that buys Define My Day. We'll help you get enrolled into that platform once that session is over. And then we're going to do a paid program that is much more in depth. Like it's like I have my whiteboard right here and just looking at it right now, like it's going to be hours of content in each individual thing, so you can get chunks of each part of the process, and it's going to get real in depth. So we're working on that. That's going to be down the road, but the free walkthrough and description of the better description of how to use Define My Day, that's coming pretty soon. So just trying to make it a little bit better and easier for you guys, and give you another platform to learn to find my day. Wally says, if you're looking for a physical health program, please look into Optavia. It's fantastic, so much more than weight loss. It's life-changing and encourage habits of health. Last year I dropped 89 pounds. That's awesome. On my way to goal. Cool, very cool. I've not heard of that. We should definitely look into it. And we'll talk about the different reasons for exercise and where to work out and that sort of thing. We'll talk about that in a minute. Let me finish going through the comments here. Jenny, good morning. Those videos helped also, talking about the 14 sessions. Good to hear. I'm glad you guys like those. Good morning, getting back into DMD today. So yeah, today is actually day 1 for me of my new Define My Day planner. So setting that up this morning, setting up some new goals. And it's a perfect day for me to get back onto the exercise kick, right? I still need to send you a roller ball with LLP, lavender, lemon, and peppermint essential oils. Yeah, absolutely. So the essential oils things is not something I got into, but everybody is into that right now. And I had a major allergy attack a couple of years ago, and somebody gave me those peppermint little essential oil balls, and man, it cleared me up in like that. It was amazing. So I can definitely, like, there might be other ones that are like a slow roll kind of thing, but that one was ridiculously effective. I think there's something to all of this. And the more I've gone into health, the more I've gotten into like alternative remedies. And tomorrow when we talk about diet, I'm going to go into like supplements and things also. And I'll show you some of the supplements that I use. I don't know if it all works, but the way I see it is that it's things that have been used for thousands of years, like turmeric, right? It's been used for thousands of years for anti-inflammatory properties. And it might only improve my health like 0.001%. But if I do that, if I do other stuff, and it, all together, can improve my health just a little bit every day on top of the physical things I do and improve diet, I'll take it. I'll take any advantage I can get, right? Um, New to this, starting today. So excited. Jamie, thank you for joining us. Awesome. Very cool. Glad you could join us today. Today is day one for me on my new planner. Yep. The day one for me. So I'm very excited about it. Angel's day one with me also. Esther, good morning. Good to see you. Debbie, welcome, Jamie. Yeah, absolutely welcome. And started on this last night and this morning. Very cool. Very cool. New to the process, everybody. Welcome, Jamie, to the process. Good morning, Debbie. All right, so today we're talking about health. This whole week we're talking about health, and it might even go into next week, depending on how in depth we get with these topics. Now, in Define My Day, you will notice there are disciplines, right? So you have your disciplines. You can't really see it because it's kind of blown out with the light, but we pre-filled in disciplines for you: rest, exercise, eating well, drinking water, whatever your amount is for you that you want, reading, and positive interactions. All of these are here as the basic building blocks for overall good health. Each one of these things contribute to you being a healthier person. And the reason for that is, and the reason we go into health this week, is because your overall health, the better it is, the easier it is to be disciplined, reach your goals, have the energy to reach your goals, have the mental focus to reach your goals, to do the things that you want to do. And in the end, really probably live longer, or at least have a better chance of living longer to accomplish all the things that you want to accomplish. My health is my motivation for health is very, very tightly connected to wanting to see my kids have their own kids and have a relationship with my grandchildren. I can't do that unless I'm alive to do it. And I certainly don't want to be alive and incapacitated, right? I want to be able to run around with my grandkids in 30 years, right? So, the main part of like this for me is being able to do what I want to do in the best way possible with the least amount of restrictions possible. And for people, everybody is in a different starting point as far as health is concerned. You might already have a pretty good routine and just need to tweak it a little bit. Maybe you don't need to tweak it at all. Maybe you're sedentary and you need to change things gradually to get into better health. You don't want to go too far. You don't want to start it all at once, but you do want to start moving in a certain direction. Myself, I've found that I make the most progress when I am rock solid disciplined in my diet, in my routine, in my exercise program schedule, exercise routine. I am either like an all or nothing kind of person in that way. And that's probably a mindset I need to change, because what happens is I am all, and then at some point I become nothing, right? So not like me personally become nothing, but my routine becomes nothing. Like I once I break that diet, like I'll be good for 4 months, and then I'll cheat, and then it all just goes out the window. The wheels fly off, right? And I need to fix that. Like that can't keep happening. So my goal, as before COVID happened, my goal was to make healthy choices a regular part of my day, realizing that yeah, I could have a couple slices of pizza one day. I just can't have a couple of slices of pizza every day. But yes, exercise needs to be a daily aspect of my life. I need to be active in some way. It might be going to the gym and lifting weights or running or whatever. It might also just be taking a walk around the neighborhood. But it needs to be a more integrated part of my day without making it like this craziness that has to happen and then I'm exhausted from it and I don't want to do it every day. And it's this thing that I keep thinking to myself, like, this is awful. Like, that's not where I want to be. I also don't want to be a person that just never enjoys my food. Like, I like barbecue. I love pizza. I love pasta. Like I love all the things that they tell me I can't have. So for me, the choices are, excuse my sniffling again. The choices are, you know, normally eating a lot of vegetables. Like I've found that I can load up on vegetables, and when I want a snack, load up on more vegetables. I don't quit eating the other things. I just have less room for the other things as long as I'm eating really healthy stuff. So I've just tried to shift the balance of my food intake to another place. The other mindset that a lot of people have is like you have to stop looking at food as like this big enjoyment experience every meal, right? Like food is just fuel for your body. We need to stop looking at it like it needs to be an amusement ride every single time we eat a meal. So, there's healthy ways of looking at it and healthy ways to not look at it. The one thing that as we're going through this entire week, excuse me, I'm going to sneeze for a minute. Why do I start getting itchy and allergy attacks when we start talking? I do not get it. So excuse me. All right. So the one thing we want to keep in mind is that you can go whole hog as long as it doesn't make you burn out. And that's what a lot of people go through. Even in starting to find my day, people go whole hog and burn themselves out, and then they stop and they lose all the ground they gained. So, what we want to do is ease into it, but not ease into it to the point where, like, we're not making progress. So, you have to find that sweet spot for you. And what we learned in the book Willpower is that it's hard to do too much at once because we're using that reserve of willpower we have, right? So if you're exercising and you're using all of your willpower to exercise, and then you're using up more willpower, you're compounding the amount of work you have to do by also then trying to do an extreme diet. It's motivating and it gets us results faster, but a lot of times that causes the burnout because we're burning through willpower, and we're also exhausted and we're feeling the physical strain and stress. And so while that like cold turkey, exercise and diet routine can work for a lot of people, the results are negative on the back end long term because it's not a real change that we can maintain. So we want to try to keep in mind that as we do anything, we want to build up our willpower without using it all on like this crazy routine that we're trying to get into, and do something that we can look at as a routine we can maintain for the rest of our lives, right? And for me, I was actually in a pretty good routine going to the gym every day, until COVID-19 hit. And I almost literally put on the COVID-19, like the freshman 15. I almost literally put on the COVID-19 pounds, because my routine was broken up and I didn't readjust quick enough, with everything else going on in life. I didn't readjust quick enough. But I'll tell you, excuse my sniffling again, but I'll tell you, this morning working out, I was almost nostalgic as I was going through the process of taking my pre workout supplement, of going downstairs, firing up the TV, getting my weights in order, and then actually working out. I was nostalgic. I was reminiscing of like when I used to do it in the basement, and the feeling when you're done, like how good you feel, and then walking upstairs and doing the post workout supplements, and then taking a shower and just feeling like, oh, a little bit of sore, a little bit of like, oh, my arms, like it's hard to wash my hair, like that sort of thing. It's it was almost like a, yeah, like this is me coming back to health. It actually felt really good, right? And so now as I go through my day, I'm not going to be like rock solid, like I'm not going to deny myself all of the other good foods I want. I'm just going to gradually turn to a place where I can be just a little bit more healthy. Excuse my sniffle one more time right here. All right. All right. Sorry about that. Okay. So, you know, what we can do, and what I'm really, for me, exercise being, I look at exercise and diet as kind of a yin and yang of this whole, the whole health topic, in that And who wrote The Power of Habit? Charles Duhigg, right? I'm pretty sure it was in that book that he mentions keystone habits. It's the habit that creates other habits. It starts other habits to happen, right? You do this one keystone habit and you develop habits out of it. Exercise is a keystone habit, and because of this, usually when you diet, it doesn't cause you to exercise more, but when you exercise, it causes you to evaluate your diet because you put so much work into exercise. You now want to take advantage of that exertion by by improving your diet also. And it's a weird way the mind works. Like dieting does not make you want to expend more energy, but expending more energy by exercising makes you want to change your diet. It also has a positive impact on your sleep because you're burning that energy, and it's going to make you more tired. And if you can keep your exercise routine fairly consistent, it snaps your sleep cycle into a more consistent sleep cycle, and you develop a better rhythm there. It also helps you, like has a more positive impact on your overall biology. It's exercise alone, just improving your exercise has a dynamic down the road impact on so many other things. And it will cause you to, like, if you get into exercising 3, 4, 5 days a week or more, when you're outside making decisions about like what you're going to eat, you will start to think to yourself, well, running a half an hour burned 200 calories. If I have a bowl of ice cream, that's going to erase all of that, right? So you start to think to yourself, maybe I just have a single scoop of ice cream. Then I still get the benefit, and I get I can have ice cream. I'm just not going to overdo it with the ice cream. So these kind of thoughts, like, it causes you to just change that mindset a little bit in how you go about your day. So how do we exercise? Like, what are we going to do about it? Like what's it do for you, and what's the best way to do it? And the best way to do it, I think, is completely up to you, right? But we'll get there in a minute. But what are the other benefits of it? Number one, I think for me, it taught me grit. I think that starting to exercise a couple of years ago with my wife. I had been out of it for a long time, probably since being in the military. And I didn't realize my limits, my personal limits, until I started exercising, and a lot of group exercising too, right? Where you actually go to a gym and work out with another group of people, or like my wife does Beachbody. We both do Beachbody, and the group exercises they have like once a quarter in like the metro area, or even like when you're watching TV, you're sort of watching other people do it as a group. And that exercise, like that, like, okay, 10 more seconds, just push it for 10 more seconds. That exercise in trying to push it just a little bit more, push your limits just a little bit more, has an amazing mental impact. It causes, like, it exercises this grit muscle you have, this willpower muscle you have. And while it's draining willpower, it's helping you build that grit muscle and build more willpower for tomorrow. And I never realized my personal limits could be expanded until I started exercising. Whether it was going for a couple of more seconds for each repetition, whether it was just a little bit more weight if I was lifting weights, but that feeling of like I can do it gives an amazing sense of accomplishment. And then okay, I just pushed the limit a little bit further. So now tomorrow, my limits are here and I can go further. It's a very solid indication, or a solid example of like moving that mark, right? I call it the anchor point. Like, my anchor point is right here and I never go too far from it. But if I can pick up that anchor and drag it forward a little bit, okay, now I have a new anchor point, and my back and forth is right here. So when we exercise, we clearly see I've moved the anchor, right? When we're doing things like, when we're doing things like setting goals, and like, it's a little bit more foggy, right? It's hard to see the changes in our mind and all this other stuff. But when you're exercising, you can see that change every day, even if you don't see the physical change, right? And a lot of people focus on weight loss. A lot of people focus on muscles and all of this other stuff. Now, I'm not going to lie to you and say that doesn't matter to me, right? Like there's frustration there a lot of times that like I'm not losing enough weight or whatever. But if you focus more on pushing your personal limits, pushing, how long you can go, how much weight you can lift, how far you can walk, how fast you can run a mile. If you can push those limits, then everything else just falls into place. So you don't want to look at the lagging indicator. The lagging indicator is the weight loss. The leading indicator is the actual physical activity. So if you're sedentary and you don't move at all, obviously in all of this, let's preface this by saying talk to your doctor first, right? If you're worried about it, talk to your doctor. I don't want you to get up and go have a heart attack. I'm going to be straight with you. But what we should do is make sure that we set the bar when we're looking at our disciplines every day. And exercise is on here, and the second one down, right? Exercise is on there. What we want to do, exercise, like for whatever for you is a step forward. So for you, exercise might be taking the stairs instead of the elevator. Exercise for you might be walking around the block instead of sitting on the couch for 10 minutes, right? But exercise for me is going downstairs and lifting weights for 50 minutes, right? Or exercise for me is a half an hour of cardio. Exercise for me is swimming a pool, like swimming laps in the pool. But it's different for everybody. And what you need to do is just look at where you are now from an honest perspective and say, what little change can I do to add a little bit more activity? If you want, add a lot more activity, but do it in a way that gets you moving. You don't even have to do an exercise program. You don't have to go to a gym. You don't have to do exercises at home. But you can find something like an activity that gives you that physical activity. I had actually considered signing up for a dodgeball league last year because I could have a blast playing dodgeball, and that's a lot of activity. That's a lot of physical fun activity, right? You could sign up for a sports league. You could play tennis at your local, activity center, community center. Golfing for me was a lot of fun. My problem with golfing is that you usually associate drinking with golfing. And when I golf, then I want to eat. So it started a bad chain of events. That was a bad habit stack for me. So golfing, if you can do it healthy, you have to look at the whole habit stack, right? Not a good habit stack for me. But whatever works for you, there's so many things out there. You can start going to the gym again now. I personally won't. I'm probably going to cancel my gym membership or put it on hold right now. I don't want to be around people. So what I'm doing is I'm going back into the Beachbody side of things. Not that I ever quit. I've had the shakes that I've been drinking, but right now I have to assume Beachbody is doing better than they have ever done. You can do it at home in your basement like I just did in my garage. They have weightlifting, they have aerobics, they have dance, they have all sorts of things. And there's stuff for people that are just starting off. There's an intermediate section, and then there's sort of like a heavy duty insanity section, right? So there's all different types of exercise, and if you want a female instructor, they have female instructors. If you want male instructors, they have male instructors, and there's different exercises that take 20 minutes a day, and there's other ones that take an hour to an hour and a half. So I haven't really been in the Beachbody world for a long time. We still drink their shakes. I take some of their supplements, but I've not been active in it. And today was kind of like a nostalgic experience going back to it. And I know Lynn is going back to it today too, as far as the exercise herself. But it's kind of it's like a no-brainer right now. If you don't want to go out in public, if you don't want to be out there with other people breathing the same air, if you have an Amazon Fire Stick, if you have an Apple TV, they have an app. You can even do it on your phone or your iPad, and they have an app that you can download. And I think it's $100 a year, and you can stream all of the exercises through their app. And they have the other supplements like the Shakeology shakes and stuff like that. And you can do all of that. And we'll talk more about this sort of thing, and I'll tell you all the supplements I'm taking tomorrow when we talk about diet. But if you're looking to start that keystone habit that's going to start you down the right path, find a way of exercising that works for you. I will post my link. Now, look, I am a Beachbody coach. I'm sort of like a secret Beachbody coach, like a secret agent. Like I don't like actively pursue business, but I will post my link for my Beachbody, links that I get a small commission off of whatever anybody buys if you sign up. I will post that link if anybody's interested in it. I like it. I wouldn't recommend it if I didn't like it. I'm not huge into the multi-level marketing side of things. I certainly like getting a little bit of cash if somebody signs up for it. But building a multi-level business is not really a huge priority for me, especially with the Define My Day stuff we have going on. But I believe in the product. It's worked for my wife and I over the years. We were in the best health of our lives a couple of years ago when we were active with it. I even got a I got certified to instruct some of the Beachbody courses live, although I never actually took advantage of it and did it. But it's a good community. I liked everybody that I would go to the group workouts with Lynn. I liked everybody in that community. And there's people in there that have lost a lot of weight. I mean, there's examples of people losing 100 pounds. I myself, going through their programs only 2 years ago, lost like, what was it, that one year? I lost like 35 pounds in 3 or 4 months, and I was in great shape. But work, I fell out of the habit. Work came into it. I was working 2 jobs when we started Define My Day, and I got out of the habit and didn't take care of myself. I was out of balance and didn't get back into balance quick enough. So that's why I kind of got out of it, and I started getting back into things by going to Planet Fitness last year, and was going every day to the gym, and that was a great habit for me. But once COVID started, I completely quit going and didn't do any exercises at home until today. And I'll tell you, I feel pretty good about doing it today. I'm going to be sore later, but I feel pretty good about it. But I've also seen there's other ones. There's like I can't remember the name of it now, but there's Noom is a big one I see on TV now that I see people are having a lot of success with. There's people that do it on YouTube. Caroline Jordan is a wonderful resource. I just saw today, I think it was today, yesterday, that I don't even know what day it is. She reached over 200,000 followers on YouTube recently. And I met her last year in San Diego. She does exercises for people with health issues. So, like diabetes or like physical ailments. She does exercises for people that have like a issue that they have to work around, and she does very easy to use exercises. She has like it's like a movement as therapy type exercise program that she does, and you can find her a lot of her videos. I think most of her, if not all of her videos, are absolutely free on YouTube. She is a wonderful person. I followed her for some time since I met her, and I'd actually like to have her on here sometime soon. That's something we need to work on more, is trying to get some of these resources on here for you guys. But I will post a link to her YouTube page. I will post a link to my Beachbody page if that's something you're interested in. And then anybody else that has any other ideas, please post what you've been using and how you've been exercising. It is the keystone habit to build a better foundation for yourself so that you are clear headed, that you build your willpower, you build your resistance, you build that grit muscle. It is the keystone habit to make sure that you attack every day in the best way possible. And it leads to so many better habits. And we're going to talk about it this week: diet, sleep, meditation, mindset, all of the healthy things that we need to have in place to make sure that we achieve the things that we want to achieve. All right, I'm going to head into the comments here and see what you guys have going on. I missed a lot of them, so hold on one second. All right, so Carrie has a new Define My Day today, day one today also. Trying to get a new start on all of my health goals, food, meditation, and exercise. Got off track for a couple of weeks with being a new grandma. Congratulations again. Your grandson's adorable. Back on it. Already got my exercise in for today. Isn't that a great feeling? Like getting it in early. And like, so let's talk about that real quick. Getting it in at the proper time. Uh, my exercise has to happen in the morning because if it's not in my morning habit stack, then things come up and I don't get it done. So for me, today it was scheduled for 7 o'clock. Things happened that it got pushed off a little bit, and I ended up getting it in at 8 o'clock. But that's what happens. Things happen. So the later in the day you schedule it, the more that can happen. And then you go at the end of the day, your willpower is low, and you say, you know what, I'll just get to it tomorrow. And then that keeps happening, and then it never gets done. So it has to be built into an earlier habit stack for me. And the earlier in the day, the better. And then I feel like I have energy to go through the day. I just bring a different energy to the day because my blood is flowing, oxygen is going, man. I feel good. So I have to get it done as early as possible. So good point there, Carrie. I'm glad you brought that up. One of my favorite pages, Jenny. Awesome. Thank you. Worked on water last week, and that is really important. We're going to talk more about water later on this week. But water is huge, huge. Grandkids are my motivation as well. Yeah, it's got to be. It's got to be. Like you have that thing that like you're looking forward to in the future. For me, grandkids are a gigantic thing, and they're not even close to being on the horizon right now. My oldest is almost 10. He's not having kids anytime soon, I hope. But I think about that, and when I watch him, like I think about when he's going to sleep. Right, I look at him laying in bed, and I'm thinking, man, I want to see him have kids. KT began looking for something that works. Crazy times are getting to me. Yeah, I know. And that thing you're looking for that works. I don't know if you're in Define My Day already, but I think you'll see a lot of examples of how that's working for people right now. But if you're looking for exercise, we talked about a lot of good examples. Um, it's what's compatible for you, right? Like Beachbody was compatible for me, and it turned out it wasn't compatible for me last year. I needed to go to a gym. Now that is not part of my life anymore, I need to find something else. So me, it's natural for me to go back to Beachbody. Caroline Jordan might be good for some other people, but you got to find what's compatible for where you are right now, and then you can make changes as you go forward. Worked on water. I am skipping. Okay, here we go. Jenny says, I love me some barbecue. Define My Day definitely helps with you with consistency, with those healthy disciplines like exercise and eating. Yeah, so barbecue, and in fact, I haven't even had any, like, we had salmon the other day, but for me, barbecue is like brisket and pulled pork and stuff like that, ribs. And we watched Diners, Drive-ins, and Dives was on like repeat yesterday, and watching some of the stuff that he was eating, it was killing me yesterday. And my boys were there watching with me, and they're just like, "Oh my dad, like we need to cook something now." So we're gonna have to think of like what we want to smoke in the backyard sometime soon here. Da, da, da. Brenda says we're going to our gym pool today. Our gym's open last week. Can't wait to work out. Yeah, swimming's great because it's really low impact, but it will burn your legs up. Yesterday I was pushing my kids around on a floaty and my thighs were on fire by the time I was done. Crazy how that can happen. I mean, it doesn't even feel like it until it happens. Angel says, so an interesting thing about pizza for me. I never crave it except on release day at work. Software developers are a very, very superstitious group, and at our company, they think that pizza causes the software release to fail. I can actually be fired if I eat pizza on release day. That's crazy. That's funny. That is funny. So yeah, it's everybody has their thing, right? So for me, I grew up on carbs, and trying to not eat carbs bothers me. Like it's just that thing that I can't fight it. That's funny though. That's a crazy pizza story right there. Stepping stones to better habits. Absolutely. Sis, never thought of that, but I can see it. Exercise help you diet and sleep. I always try to start with eating better, and I've yet to exercise. I didn't think of it either until I read this book. But yeah, like when you diet, you're almost like when you diet, you're restricting yourself, right? And in fact, in willpower, they talk about that is like when you diet, you're telling your body not to listen to what it wants. Like you're telling your body not to listen to that feeling of hunger. And it's also when we overeat, we're not listening to that feeling of like being full. We're overriding that. So when you diet, you're sort of conflicting your mind and body. But when you exercise, it sort of brings it all back into synchronization. So it's just that thing that like snaps a lot of things back into place. Anna made it. Hey, Anna, thanks for joining us. Jenny says that's a fun part about writing down your exercise, being specific so that you can look back and realize just how much you improved, and then you can set more goals off your progress. And that's a great point. For me, I was lifting really heavy weights by the end of February, beginning of March, when I quit working out at the gym. I was lifting more than ever. I was leg pressing the most the machine could do. I was bench pressing the most I have in 20 years. I was doing really heavy weight. And now, today, I intentionally took it really slow. I went really low on the weights. Did not want to go too heavy because I didn't want to hurt myself, right? I knew my body wasn't going to be ready for it. But even doing push ups, I can't do half of the push ups that I was doing 3 months ago. So I can see now just how weak I've become from being sedentary. So it goes both ways. And in a lot of the Beachbody programs, they give you printouts where you can actually track your progress. I still need to print mine out. My printer wasn't working, so I need to print them out and track the weights that I was using. For other ones, it's like how long you could go before you had to quit. But for this one, it's how heavy the weights are, and tracking that is really amazing. Like when you can look back and see, like I'm actually twice as strong as I was. Like when you can say that, that's an amazing feeling. Good morning, Amy. Angel says I need to take up the 21-day fix again. So Lynn, that's what she's saying that she wants to do. And I've seen the commercials on TV with that right now. I think Beachbody's trying to hit it pretty hard. But the 21-day fix is the one we both started on. And she laughs because she thinks I just like looking at the woman doing it. But it actually is a good blend of weights and aerobics. And people have lost amazing amounts of weight with that and got into great shape. I did myself. Sis says, I just read that our libraries can open. Our county is on phase 3 out of 4 in reopening, and our across the border county is ahead of us. Woohoo! I still try to be mindful, but I'm really happy about the libraries. Yeah, and for me, I'm happy about being able to go places too without issue, but I'm still minimizing it. Really, like if we're talking health, not getting the virus is a big health priority for me. Good morning from Seattle to someone in the user group. Thanks for joining us. Debbie says, if I really want to do something, I have to schedule it and do it in the morning or I get sidetracked. Me too. Sometimes I even self-sabotage, decide other things are more important, and then not do it at all. Yeah, and what happens is like you have to look at your willpower as a depletable resource. And as you are going through your day, you're using up willpower. There are certain tactics you can use to build up willpower, and we'll talk about that in the mindset part of this health week. But as you go through the day, you're depleting your willpower, and it becomes harder to do the things that are easy to do when you wake up in the morning. So either don't deplete your willpower on things that you can try to conserve it on. Like don't tempt yourself with like garbage food around the house all day, because the more you're using up that willpower to fight that urge to eat that food, the less willpower you have to do the things you really need to do. So yeah, the hard things that I want to make sure I get done, I do it early in the day when I have the willpower to get started and do it. Jamie says there's a page in the book that I don't know what to do with, and it's not covered in the videos. It says week 1 on the top, and it has day 1 with a few lines, day 2, etc. Please help. That is the only part of the process that is not part of the process. It's in the book to try to help people that want to like schedule appointments. I use it to plan out my meals. So we have like Monday is day 1. That's I put in my meals that I want to make for Monday. Tuesday might be leftovers. Wednesday, my meals for that day. It helps me, one, not waste food, and two, plan ahead so that we're prepared and have healthy meals for us. Other people schedule appointments there. A really effective tactic that people use on that page is to write down, like pre-plan their priorities. So if you have a milestone that has to be broken into chunks and priorities, then you have to, then you want to put like priority 1 for Monday to reach that milestone is this. Priority 2 on day 2 is this, and you can pre-plan it that way. So there's a couple things you can do there. It's entirely optional. We just wanted to sort of help you out with that. Wally says day 1 for me too, and with you. And after a flare up with CHF issues, I'm back on plan. Optavia. That's I'm gonna have to look into that. I've never heard of that, so that's 2 people now mentioning it. Stacy says I'm struggling as well, especially since I got out of Planet Fitness routine. I'm in more back pain since not getting the rowing in. Looking into buying a rower using Gazelle and Pilates, but I need more. Yeah. So it's funny. I bought a years ago. I bought a Bowflex, and I thought I was going to like that, and I never used it after the first couple of weeks. It just was not conducive for me. So if you like rowing, if that's something you do at Planet Fitness, then yeah, buying a rower is great. But I don't know what Gazelle is, but Pilates, there's a lot of places that you can do, like you can look on YouTube for online Pilates videos. I think even Caroline Jordan does them. I know there is Pilates on the Beachbody On Demand program, their platform, but there are so many places you can get Pilates. You just sort of have to have a TV somewhere, or if you put it on your iPad or something, your laptop. But there are ways to do Pilates at home. And that's actually something that I want to do because I'm noticing my joints are a little stiff right now. So I need to start doing some things to loosen up my muscles in my joints. So Pilates or yoga is something that I'm going to have to do soon. Yes, starting over is totally a humbling experience. But I look at it, excuse me, sniffling again. I look at it as the opportunity to start right. So any bad habits I may have developed, whether it was, I noticed I was focusing on the amount of weight I was lifting and not so much how well I was doing the motion. So today I went extremely low, giving me that mental ability to say, like, we're starting over. So we're going to start light. And that gave me the opportunity to really focus on the motion, doing it slow, doing it clean, doing it the right way, the healthy way. And so I actually felt really good doing it that way. But it was humbling, that's for sure. Especially when I couldn't finish the push-ups. That, to me, was humbling. But also a very good indication of how quickly your body can get out of shape. Honestly, I've been floundering trying to recalibrate things to look forward to. Had to cancel summer vacation. Yeah, a lot of people did. Most things that were fun, I can't even look forward to anymore. Hard to find new things. Yeah, and I think, it's that, we need to find more daily to look forward to, right? We need to find joy in the smaller things closer to home, right? Closer to, our circle. And that's something that I've been trying to focus on more in life, like moments with my kids, walking around the block. Like I've never been one for, like, I like vacations, but I've always been more about the small or daily things than the big experiences. Although I know that I will regret not going on longer trips and trips in general if I don't do it before I'm not healthy enough to do it. So, but for me right now, I try to focus more on the everyday things, the everyday challenges, the everyday experiences, the healthy experiences, the joyful experiences. I focus more on that. So, I didn't, it wasn't hard for me to adapt to not going out a whole lot because while I love going out to dinner with my wife, and while I love golfing, and while I love going to the gym, um, I try to just be happy wherever I'm at, and it is a mindset more than it is like you can find joy in the small things, and I think that it's a good practice. It's a good practice. Jamie, you're welcome. Wally says, day one for me too, with you after hospital stay, back on program 100%. Very cool, Wally. Good for you, man. Uh, Somebody in the user group is also doing the Optavia program. It's been so successful. I did backslide during the quarantine, but I'm back getting on track. All right, I'm gonna have to look into this. Never heard of it. It's funny, like you just in certain circles, right? Um, Karen says, I've been using the planner for a little over a month. It is definitely helping. Only a couple of days I wasn't able to keep the journal going, and I could tell I was too disorganized. Also, want to mention that I really like the quality of the journal and how the pages are nice and thick and not too flimsy. Thank you. Please don't change that. Nice quality product. Karen, I appreciate you saying that because that's something we've really focused on. And we really, when we switched vendors, it was one of our priorities. It's not inexpensive, right? I understand that, and when somebody gets it, they have to feel like we put some thought and quality into it, and so that was very important to us. I didn't want the pages to be see through. Was a big problem. Like I wanted you to be looking at that page and not be distracted by anything else. So thank you. I appreciate you mentioning that. You and your organizational strength are a natural for the Optiva program. I'm so glad I found your program. Your planner is a game changer and works perfectly with all aspects of my healthy journey. Finally working it. That is so cool. Thank you very much. I appreciate you joining me. Thank you. Um, with that, I'm gonna close on that very positive note and say thank you for joining me. I will post the link to my Beachbody link. I do benefit from you signing up if you sign up with me, um, and I appreciate anybody that does. I believe in the product. I love the workout program. I love the Beachbody Live or the Beachbody On Demand product, and we will be using it every day going forward from today. I need to get back in better health, and that's the program that I'm going to be using right now to do that. So I appreciate that. I will also post a link for Caroline Jordan so you can check her out, and I'll be looking into Optivia to see what's going on there. But whatever you choose to use for yourself, um, do what's healthy for you. Know your boundaries, know your limits. Don't try to do too much. Don't wear yourself out. Remember, this is a long process. We're trying to find something that will fit into your life forever. A type of physical activity and exercise that will help you move forward and improve forever. So find the thing that works for you. There's a lot of options out there, free and paid, for money. So find what works for you and help yourself build that foundation and use exercise as that keystone habit to build better habits and build a great routine. I look forward to speaking with everybody tomorrow at 10 o'clock. We're going to talk about diet. Um, keep moving forward. I can't talk. Keep moving forward. I look forward to talking to you. Take care.